What's happening, guys? Evan Tech Source back at it again with another keyboard video. This time we're going to be looking at the popular VicTsing RGB Mechanical keyboard. Currently one of the top sellers on Amazon with over 1,000 positive ratings. So check this out. This is a 96 key mechanical keyboard with blue switches. However, it's equivalent to a full-size keyboard because of this genius multifunction key up top, which lets you switch between the numpad and the directional keys. So you basically get the best of both worlds while having a compact form factor that's slightly larger than TKL. The keyboard is going to cost you around $38, making it very competitive with other budget RGB mechanical keyboards within this price bracket. But we're going to see if it's actually worth it. So the keyboard has a minimalistic aesthetic with the borderless design all around, and the type of design is becoming more and more popular across budget keyboards, which makes sense. The less material they use, the lower the cost of the keyboard. The build quality isn't too bad. The bottom plate is made out of plastic while the top plate is all aluminum. However, there is a bit of flex across the keyboard, and I noticed that the top plate appears to come apart slightly near the top corners when trying to bend the keyboard. The keys do have a lot of play, unfortunately, but I found that it doesn't really affect your typing or gaming experience at all. Also, if you look closely, you can see that a lot of the keys are crooked and they are not even. It's more noticeable on the outer keys. Now, obviously, it doesn't affect performance. It's more of an aesthetic thing. So if you have major OCD problems, then this might be a deal breaker for you. The keycaps are made out of double shot injection ABS plastic, and the manufacturer of these keys are VicTsing, which is based in China. Now, these switches have a 45 gram of actuation force, which is a lot lighter compared to other popular blue switches on the market. I love the fact that I can easily switch between using the numpad and the direction keys with a press of a button. I'm still getting used to this, but it also helps that it lets you know which keys are activated by lighting them up for you. The keyboard claims to be spill resistant with a couple of drain ports near the back to help with draining the liquid. However, there are some reviews stating that if you spill any type of liquid in the keyboard, it will in fact die. I definitely want to test that out at the end of the video to see what type of liquids this is resistant to. So we'll try water and coffee, so stick around for that. Although I'm not a fan of the font of the keycaps, the text is large and clear enough to read easily, and I do appreciate the multimedia function keys up top. There are also some other shortcuts like email, calculator, and homepage of your web browser, which is cool. And in between the escape and F1 key are the light indicators for all the lock keys. The one downside is that the function keys won't work if you're using Mac OS, so unfortunately you're gonna have to use a third-party software for that. Now, the cable is braided, and I love how long it is, measuring 70 inches from the top of the keyboard, which is pretty close to 6 feet, and this is great for those who have their PC further away from their keyboard. Also, the connection starts at the center of the keyboard, which is awesome for cable management, since you can run it straight down and through your desk if you plan on drilling a hole. If not, you do have 3 different routing paths to choose from for the cable. Looking at the back, we can see rubber feet on all 4 corners, which do a great job in preventing the keyboard from slipping. There's also a kickstand that's recessed in, along with a keycap removal tool and a spare keycap. The removal tool is actually really hard to remove with my fingers, so I had to use something to pry it out of there. And the spare keycap is a different size compared to the original keys for some reason. At first, I thought this is a replacement for the switch key up top, but it's much larger than that. The only keys it comes close to in size are the bottom row keys. So this is more of a temporary key rather than a spare until you find the replacement. All right, let's talk about the RGB lighting. Each key is individually lit, and the lighting is nice and bright with a bunch of RGB effects to choose from right from the keyboard. However, I do recommend using the software to make your life easier. You can set macros on here and customize the lighting a lot easier. It's very similar to other budget RGB keyboard software out there, and it works really well. One minor gripe I have with this keyboard is that it's pretty tall, so reaching some of the keys in the back were difficult even with my large hands. So I would recommend using a wrist rest or the built-in kickstand for a more comfortable angle while typing. I wish they made different switch options for this keyboard. I would have loved to see maybe red switches on here and possibly even a different keyboard color like white, which seems to be very popular. But overall, very satisfied with this keyboard, and for the price, I can definitely recommend it to my fellow gamers. The build quality may not be the best with wobbly and crooked keys, but for the price, it's justifiable. And before we jump into the water resistant test, I want to go over this wireless vertical mouse designed for people who experience hand fatigue. It has an ergonomic design to prevent wrist strain and features a dedicated DPI button up top, up to 2400 DPI, with a gripped scroll wheel and 2 side buttons. However, the side buttons are a bit too high up there, making it a bit inconvenient to press with my thumb. It doesn't come with any batteries, which is lame, but at the same time, it costs only $13 with the coupon. I'll drop a link to this along with the keyboard if you guys want to check it out. All right, so the first liquid we're doing is good old water. Here we go. I'm just gonna spill a little bit from the top. Yep, still works. Let's pour in a little more. All right, yeah, it's still working. Just to show you guys it is actually working. You can see it's typing right there. Keyboard is doing some funky things. I'm pressing a key and a bunch of gibberish. It feels like each key is doing something completely different. So to answer your question, it is water resistant if you spill a little bit, but obviously if you dump like half a bottle of water on the keyboard, it's gonna die. So